Hello, YouTube divers. This is Water Rival 122, and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Magic Metal Mondays. So today we're going to be re-ranking the discography of one of my favorite bands of all time, and one of the most important bands in my lifetime. We're going to be re-ranking the catalog of Helloween. See, I'm wearing their T-shirt today. So I know I've ranked Helloween once on this channel before, and that was back prior to the release of their self-titled album. I know their self-titled album came out in 2020, but I think the original ranking, which was seen in episode 3, took place in, I think, 2020, so about almost 5 years ago. And I decided to re-listen through all of their albums, including the latest studio albums, their self-titled album, and their album that they released about a month ago, Giants and Monsters. And let's just say this list has completely flipped upside down since that last ranking video. But we're going to discuss all that in these two videos. And yes, I said two because Helloween now have 17 studio albums. So this ranking is going to have to be broken up into two sections. We're going to start off with 17 through 9 in this video. And then the next video will tackle albums 8 to number 1. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So coming in at number 17, we got the 2010 album, Seven Sinners. So, yeah, this one definitely dropped a lot lower than what I initially remembered. The production on this album is absolutely atrocious. It doesn't feel balanced, it doesn't feel nuanced, and it just does not feel cohesive in any type of manner. It feels way overproduced, way overcompressed, way too guitar heavy for my liking. And there are some weird vocal effects throughout the album that just simply just does not resonate with me, if that makes sense. But I do think there are some good tracks on this album, tracks that I think are worth checking out. You have Where the Sinners Go, Long Live the King, a great little mini epic at the end, Far in the Future. The Smile of the Sun is, in my opinion, one of their most underrated ballads. If a Mountain Could Talk is a great song. The Sage, the Fool, the Sinner has a really nice chorus. And then my favorite song on the album has to go to the fan favorite, Are You Metal? So, Are You Metal is a very interesting song because this is definitely the most overplayed song on the album, and this is like the one song that consistently represents this record in Helloween's live sets, for good reason. It gets your blood pumping, and it's just a very bad to the bone song. I absolutely love Are You Metal, always have, always will. And if I did have to choose at least one song on this album that I would return to, it would be Are You Metal, without a doubt. But I mean, the rest of the songs are okay, but nothing really more than okay. They're just really held back by that god awful production on this record. But the music itself and the vocals by Andy Darris are pretty good. Just the production, that's that's the biggest reason why this album is as low as it is. Because none of Helloween's other albums, in my opinion, sound as bad as Seven Sinners. But yeah, so Seven Sinners comes in here at number 17. Number 16, we have the 2015 album, My God Given Right. So this is pretty much like the consensus worst Helloween album, and while I definitely think it's one of their weaker albums, I think Seven Sinners is just a little bit worse because at least My God Given Right has pretty okay production. Seven Sinners does not. But enough with me bashing on it. But My God Given Right, I think, is a pretty decent record. It's not amazing by any means, but I think it's fine. It does have some good songs on here, like Russian Roulette, Battles Won, the title track, You Still of War, another nice little mini epic of theirs. Stay Crazy, Creatures in Heaven, which has a very bad to the bone chorus, And then my favorite song and one of the most underrated Halloween songs of all time, "The Swing of a Fallen World." Definitely check this song out. I think it needs more love because I don't really see many Halloween fans talking about this song, but I think it's a great song. But yeah, overall, my God Given Right, it's okay, but probably not a record I would return to anytime soon. Okay, so moving on to number 15, we got the 2003 album, Rabbit Don't Come Easy. So this is the first album to feature Sasha Gershner on the guitars, who's still in the band up until this very day. And either either during the tour of this album or following it, their current drummer, Denny Lubel, joined the band. But on the actual album itself, you had Mickey D of Motorhead playing drums on a good chunk of the album. They've also had a few other drummers play on certain songs, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. But anyway, so Rabbit Don't Come Easy is a very interesting album. It very much feels like a sequel to Pink Bubbles Go Ape from 1991. It's just very over the top in some places. It's very cheesy in some aspects, and it's very uh, different from some of the previous records that Helloween had released up until that point. Um, but unlike Pink Bubbles Go Ape, which I think is very fun and very catchy, Rabbit Don't Come Easy just isn't. Like, I don't think the catchy and the fun nature of this album really suits for a band at this point in their career with a singer like Andy Darris. Andy Darris has proven time and time again that his vocals are just very mean, very gritty, very raw, um, compared to Michael Kiske and, dare I say, even Kai Hansen in some aspects. But on Rabbit Don't Come Easy, he just does not sound very good singing a lot of these songs. But there are definitely some great tracks on this album. You have Just a Little Sign, which, lyrics aside, it does have some very nice musical moments, especially in that chorus. Never Be a Star is a very good song. Don't Stop Being Crazy, and nice little underrated power ballad. Hell Was Made in Heaven, a great song that shows off Marcus Roscoff's songwriting abilities. Nothing to Say, closing off the album, and it's an 8.5 minute song, and it even has some reggae parts in here. So once again, Helloween just proves that they like to experiment with a lot of different things. Back Against the Wall is without a doubt one of their heaviest songs with a really infectious chorus. And then the two best songs on the album, you have Liar, which is another very heavy song. And let me tell you, when I was listening to this song, when the chorus came in and Andy Darris was just like screaming like liar, like almost to the point where he's gutter rolling after coming off of those sleek thrash metal-esque riffs, it totally caught me off guard. And dare I say, it pretty much jump scared me. Uh, but yeah, definitely a very interesting moment in the band's career up until that point. It's you don't see the chorus coming. It'll hit you like a freight train. But yeah, Liar, great song. And then my favorite song on the album has to go to Open Your Life, which this very much feels like a song that could have easily been on like the Master of the Rings, for example. Um, it's just very hard rocking. It's very bad to the bone and quite infectious. This is one of those cheesy hard rock songs um, that I think works on this album, but it's pretty much a rare exception at this point. Rabbit Don't Come Easy. It's cool. It's underrated, I think, but yeah, there's just better choices overall. So with that said, Rabbit Don't Come Easy comes in here at number 15. And number 14, we got the 2013 album, Straight Out of Hell. So, Straight Out of Hell is an interesting album. Coming off of Seven Sinners, um, right away the production quality just takes a massive leap in the right direction. here. This is a very commercial, very cohesive listening album from start to finish. Never once do I feel like crunchy guitar tones are being slapped into my face for about an hour. It just it all feels balanced, it all feels cohesive, and it all feels very genuine. And the songs themselves, back a lot of the songs anyway, um, back it up very very nicely. There's a lot of great tracks on this album. You have Years, which kind of calls back to some tracks from Walls of Jericho. You have Make Fire Catch the Fly, which is pretty cool. Church Breaks Down to close off the album's pretty nice mini epic. You have Waiting for the Thunder, which represented this record in Helloween's Pumpkins United tour. So a little bit of a piece of Helloween trivia there for y'all. Far from the Stars is a cool song. Live Now is a very power metal esque song, but I really like it. The title track is highly underrated song. I love this song. But then my favorite song on the album has to go to the opening track, Nabatea. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I'm not. Um, 7 minute song, just one of the best modern Helloween songs to date. It's not even debatable. I absolutely love Nabatea. Go listen to it if you haven't already, and especially check out that music video. Oh, it's so good. So good. So with that said, Straight Out of Hell comes in here at number 14. And number 13 is going to be a bit controversial. We got the 1994 album, Master of the Rings. So if y'all remember from my previous Helloween ranking, I put this album way up there. Probably in the top 5, but oh, how the mighty have fallen. Now, let me just say this. Master of the Rings is a very good album. I think that a lot of these songs are, I think some of the songs on here are some of the best songs that Helloween has ever made. Mainly with tracks like Soul Survivor, In the Middle of a Heartbeat, a very beautiful ballad from them. Still We Go, to close off the record, freaking fantastic. And then you have Perfect Gentleman, which I initially didn't really like in my first couple of listens of Master of the Rings, but it grew on me over time. Why is a killer rock song, and it was the song that introduced me to the Andy Darris era of the band. And then Where the Rain Grows is just simply one of the best songs, one of my favorite songs from Helloween. I absolutely love that song. But then you have a couple of songs like Take Me Home and Mr. Ego and The Game Is On and Secret Alibi, which I don't really care about that much. I mean, they're okay songs, really, but yeah, it just kind of sucks me out of the mood of this record. And plus, I think there are just better options overall. So with that said, Master of the Rings comes in here at number 13. At number 12, we got the 2007 album, Gambling with the Devil. So this might be another controversial take here, but this album pretty much has a lot of the same production issues as I had with Seven Sinners, albeit I think Gambling with the Devil is a much better produced record than Seven Sinners. It's not. I don't think it's nearly as like guitar heavy or things like that. I think it's just a little bit more balanced. Um, Either that or the production just doesn't really bother me on Gambling with the Devil like it did on Seven Sinners. But with Gambling with the Devil, I think there are, again, some very underrated songs on here. You have Kill It, which is an amazing opening track with a very infectious riff. Paint a New World is a great modern metal song. As Long as I Fall is a nice power ballad. IME, a very good song, as is The Bells of the Seven Hells. It's just one of those dark and heavy Helloween albums that sort of makes you think back to those early 2000s Helloween albums. Then you have Dreambound, which is a very fun song. Heaven Tell No Lies is a great closing track. And then my favorite song on the album has to go to The Saints, which is just a amazing power metal song with an absolutely epic chorus. What more do you want me to say? This song, again, it's another one of my favorite modern Helloween songs. So, with that said, Gambling with the Devil comes in here at number 12. Number 11, we've got the 1993 album Chameleon. So, this is another album that dropped pretty far down in my rankings compared to last time. And it's not because it's a bad album. I just think there are better choices, for me at least. I like the experimental nature on the album, contrary to what a lot of Helloween fans will tell you, especially the older ones. Um, yeah, but I really like the experimentation on here. And it works on a lot of tracks. Like When the Sinner is a very nice little pop song, as is Step Out of Hell, which I think would have been a huge hit if it was written in the 80s. Then you have I Believe, which is a very nice little 9-minute epic. Then you have Longing to close off the album, a very nice and lush song. Then you have Crazy Cat, which is one of the band's most interesting songs, in my opinion. It's basically like a swing jazzy song, which is not something very typical for Helloween, but I think it's a cool song. Then you have Giants, which is probably like the consensus best track on the album, and I really like it a lot. First Time is a nice little catchy rock opener. And then you have I Don't Want to Cry No More, which is just one of my all-time favorite Helloween songs. So beautiful. So freaking beautiful. But yeah, there are some pretty bad and mediocre tracks on here. Where the experiments just does not work at all. I think Windmill is probably the biggest culprit in that. Not gonna bash that song anymore. But overall, I think Chameleon is a very enjoyable album. If you listen to it with an open mind, and if you're not expecting power metal, I think this is a very good album. So with that said, Chameleon comes in here at number 11. Number 10, Better Than Raw from 1998. So this album I have a lot of memories with. I remember listening to this album in high school. And for a while, it was my favorite album from the Andy Darius era. And obviously now, I like some other records a little bit more. But I mean, there are a lot of great songs on here that I wish would appear more in Helloween's live sets, like Push, Hey Lord, Love Date Dominum, which is a song that is written in a different language. I believe it's sung in Latin, if I'm being mistaken. I'm not quite so sure. But I think it's a cool song. Falling Higher is great. Midnight Sun, great power metal song. Revelation, what freaking amazing epic song. Then you have Time, Don't Spit on My Mind, and then my favorite song has to be probably the most well known track on the album, I Can. I think this is the one song from this record that Helloween consistently plays live. Um, and I think it's a great song. It's very, very much reminds me of the track Why from Master of the Rings. But yeah, overall, Better Than Raw. Very good album. And yeah, it comes in my top 10. And then now for the final album that we're going to be talking about in this video, we have another pretty controversial take. We got the debut album, Walls of Jericho from 1985. So this is the only album that features Kai Hansen exclusively on vocals. Um, and I think his vocals are pretty hit or miss, at least on here. Like in Gamma Ray, he sounds really, really nice. But here you could tell he's not really quite comfortable singing all these higher vocal arrangements, and the production, in my opinion, while it is pretty well produced, it very much feels like Running Wild's first two albums, where it's just very raw, very dirty, and often that's not really a sound I that I want to listen for when it comes to Helloween. I much prefer their more bombastic and beefier production values on later albums. But Walls of Jericho is a classic record for a reason. This is a very important album to the development of power metal, and I understand why people love it so much. Ride the Sky is a killer song. Guardians has a very infectious chorus. Reptile is, in my opinion, one of the band's most overlooked songs. Metal Invaders is another bad to the bone song. And then How Many Tears is just a masterpiece. This is easily my favorite song on the album, and this is without question one of my favorite Helloween songs. But the album as a whole just doesn't captivate me enough to the point of holding it in the same regards as the two Keeper of the Seven Keys albums, for example. So for that reason, and the fact that I think there are better records, Walls of Jericho comes in here at number 9. Okay, so this is a very long video, so we're going to move on to part 2. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is WaterDive122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.